Welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're going to tackle something, well, a little elusive. How to become a more interesting person. You know, that magnetic quality, drawing people in. We've got articles, expert opinions, even a Reddit thread, people getting real about this challenge, ready to unlock that captivating potential within you.
It's amazing, right? How many people want to be seen as interesting, but struggle to even define it. What's often missed is that true intrigue doesn't come from putting on a show. It comes from a genuine interest in the world around you.
Okay, so less about performing, more about genuinely being interested. I like that. But how does that actually translate into being seen as more interesting, by others?
Well, think about it. When was the last time someone really asked you thoughtful questions about your life, your passions, your experiences? Didn't that make you feel seen, heard? Research actually shows that asking questions, being genuinely curious, makes you more likable, not less.
Wow, that's counterintuitive. I think we've all been there, right?
Right.
Afraid to ask too many questions, end up just talking about ourselves.
Oh, it's a common fear, for sure. But you can break free from that. Instead of defaulting to, what do you do or how was your weekend, try something open-ended, something that taps into their passions. Even just, what are you most excited about right now can lead to a way more interesting conversation than, talking about the weather.
It's funny, I used to think interesting people just had a never-ending supply of great stories. Maybe it's more about being a good listener, drawing those stories odi of others.
Absolutely. You become more interesting by being interested. It's like, being a conversational archaeologist, unearthing those hidden gems in other people's experiences.
One article called it the lazy law of interestingness. It takes effort to break free from routines, cultivate new experiences. It's so easy to get stuck doing the same things day after day.
Yeah, exactly. And these new experiences, they don't have to be grand adventures. Trying a new restaurant, a day trip, signing up for a dance class, these micro adventures can be just as enriching. Even that Reddit user who felt boring, could benefit from just stepping outside their comfort zone a little.
That yes days suggestion from Reddit was pretty wild. Imagine saying yes to every safe and legal suggestion for a whole day. Talk about shaking things up.
And each of those experiences, big or small, becomes a potential story. It's like adding a new chapter to your book, right? Something to share, to weave into conversations.
So it's not just about having the experiences, but also how we share them.
Exactly. Think about someone you know who's a captivating storyteller. They don't just dump information, they draw you in, make you feel like you're right there with them.
There was a great analogy, like wrapping a gift. You wouldn't just hand someone a pile of unwrapped presents, right? You take the time to make it a delightful experience.
That's storytelling. And there are actual techniques you can use to make your own stories more engaging. Instead of just listing facts, think about crafting a narrative. Beginning, middle, end.
Building suspense, maybe a touch of humor.
Exactly. Read the room. Tailor it to your audience.
Mm.
Are they detail people or do they prefer a quick laugh? Adjust your approach. And don't forget your energy, your passion. It's contagious.
Oh, and don't be afraid to let your unique quirks shine through. That's what makes you memorable, right? Not about being perfect, it's about being authentically you.
Love that. So we've got curiosity, new experiences, and the art of storytelling. What else makes someone more interesting?
Well, several sources talked about knowledge and skills.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right? You need things to talk about, things that make you uniquely valuable to others.
Yes, those are the building blocks. One article even suggested becoming the go-to person for something. Learn web design, gardening, anything to stand out, to be genuinely helpful to others.
I have a friend who can fix any computer problem. Seriously, always in demand. And that expertise probably leads to even more interesting experiences and stories. It's a fantastic cycle.
It really is a cycle. Knowledge, experiences, more knowledge, and so on. But there's another element to this interesting thing, and it might surprise you. Generosity.
Generosity. I'm usually more focused on, acquiring knowledge, having adventures. How does being generous fit into all this?
It's not just about money, although, that's one form. It's about being generous with your time, attention, knowledge. Those people who are always willing to help with a project, share a book recommendation, connect you with someone, they're the ones we gravitate toward.
Yeah,
Right?
that makes sense. It's about adding value to other people's lives. I know I always appreciate when someone goes out of their way to help.
Exactly. And that generosity, it often comes back to us in unexpected ways. It's like what goes around comes around, right? When you're known as someone who's helpful, supportive, people naturally want to be around you.
So we're not just hoarding all this knowledge and experience for ourselves, we're sharing it. making other people's lives richer in the process.
Yeah.
That kind of ties into another point that resonated with me, the idea of being inclusive.
Yeah, inclusivity is huge. Think about how it feels to be the new person at a gathering. Standing awkwardly on the sidelines, feeling invisible. It can be so isolating. But when someone makes that effort to include you, introduce you, make you feel part of the conversation, it can make all the difference.
Right, like being a social ambassador almost.
Hmm.
Creating connections that might not have happened otherwise. A smile, a greeting, a genuine effort to make someone feel seen, it goes a long way.
Absolutely. And those connections, they can blossom into friendships, collaborations, even, romantic relationships. You never know where a simple act of inclusion might lead.
So we've got curiosity, experiences, storytelling, generosity, inclusivity. Anything else for our interestingness toolkit?
There's one more big one, doing the unexpected. Breaking free from those predictable patterns, social scripts that make us all blend together. Remember that article about contrarian opinions?
Oh, right. Challenging assumptions, offering a fresh perspective.
Yeah, it's about being thought-provoking, not argumentative. So instead of arguing about, like, politics, which can be a minefield, try debating something unexpected, playful. Like, is breakfast truly the most important meal of the day?
Good example. Unexpected, fun, and it'll definitely get people talking. But how do we find that balance between being thought-provoking and just, disagreeable? I don't want to come across as argumentative just for the sake of being different.
It is a delicate balance for sure.
Yeah.
The key is to be respectful, even when you disagree. It's about presenting your perspective in a way that invites discussion, not shuts it down. Think about, like, Bill Clinton. His charisma, it comes from being fully present, genuinely curious about others, and just a little bit unpredictable.
One article mentioned he has this way of making everyone feel like they're the most important person in the room. That's a skill, man. Goes beyond politics. It's about being authentic, engaging, regardless of your opinions.
You got it. It's not about being the loudest voice or having the most impressive resume. It's about cultivating those qualities that make you magnetic. The genuine interest, willingness to share, the ability to surprise.
So it's not about trying to fit in, be agreeable all the time. It's about embracing those quirks that make us unique.
Precisely. Those unique qualities, the things that make us stand out. That's what makes us truly interesting. It's about becoming the kind of person people gravitate towards. Not because you're trying to impress them, but because you're genuinely interesting, engaging, and just, well, fun to be around.
Seems like we've come full circle. It's not about being interesting, it's about being interested.
That's the foundation. When you approach the world with curiosity, openness, generosity, the interestingness flows naturally.
And it's not just about talking, right?
Yeah.
It's listening, observing, asking questions, making those genuine connections that enrich our lives.
It's about living a life full of adventure, learning, connection. And the more you embrace those things, the more interesting you become, both to yourself and the world around you. So how do we actually put all this into practice? Where do we even begin? That's where those actionable tips come in, right? Remember, becoming more interesting, it's not an overnight transformation. It's small changes, consistent ones, that add up over time.
Like building a muscle. The more we exercise those interesting muscles, the stronger they get. So where do we start flexing?
Start with one small change this week. Maybe commit to asking just one truly interesting question every day. Or finally sign up for that pottery class you've been thinking about.
One source suggested creating a learning bucket list, a collection of skills, topics you've always wanted to explore.
Ooh, I like that. Could be anything, right? Learning a new language, mastering the art of brewing the perfect cup of coffee. The key is to pick something that excites you, genuinely, and then make a plan.
And don't be afraid to share your progress. Enthusiasm is contagious. Your passion might inspire someone else to start their own adventure.
That's the ripple effect of interestingness. It spreads outwards, makes the world a more vibrant place.
Another practical tip was becoming a story collector.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. To make sure you've always got something interesting to share, right? Start paying attention to those little moments, the day-to-day stuff, funny encounters, unexpected observations, those conversations that spark a new idea. Jot them down, record a voice memo, or just take a mental snapshot.
Training yourself to see the world through a storyteller's eyes. Always looking for those nuggets of narrative gold.
Exactly. And as you collect these stories, you'll start to notice patterns, themes, connections you might have missed before. You become more attuned to the human experience, which is endlessly fascinating.
And those stories, they don't have to be epic to be interesting. Sometimes the most captivating ones are about everyday moments, right? The ones that reveal something deeper about ourselves or the world.
One expert even suggested asking older relatives about their lives. They're like living libraries of stories just waiting to be shared.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I bet my grandmother has some incredible stories. It's like a direct line to history.
Exactly. And those stories, they can help us understand our own WN lives in a new light, connect us to our heritage, give us a deeper appreciation for, well, for the richness of the human experience.
We've covered a lot of ground today, asking interesting questions, embracing new experiences, collecting stories, cultivating knowledge and skills, being generous, inclusive. It's like a blueprint for a more engaging, fulfilling life.
And remember, being interesting, it's ongoing. It's not a destination, it's a mindset. Curiosity, growth, connection, showing up with authenticity, enthusiasm, and a genuine desire to, to engage with others.
So it's not about reaching some level of interestingness and then coasting. It's about challenging ourselves, pushing boundaries, finding joy in the process.
Precisely. And the more you embrace that journey, the more rewarding it becomes for you and for everyone around you.
So to our listener, what's one thing from today's deep dive that you could try this week? Doesn't have to be big. Start small, see where it takes you. Maybe finally strike up a conversation with that interesting coworker. Or try that new Ethiopian restaurant downtown. Whatever it is, embrace the challenge, have fun with it, and let your interestingness shine.